Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Seikiro Shadows Die Twice OST reaction. Now, if I say second, because I, first of all, have to start with a little bit of a confession, ladies and gentlemen, is that I've never played Seikiro. I know nothing about the game, apart from the fact that it's very heavily inspired by Japanese mythos, and it's meant to be like 18th century Japan or something like that, and there's a lot of like monsters and really cool mechanics into this because it's a story. It's a very storied game because you play as a guy. You play as Wolf, and I think actually, to be honest, that sort of actual storied campaign where you actually have to play a character instead of the RPG direction is actually a pretty good idea, all things considered. Now, with that being said, I don't know if they're like RPG elements involved. For example, if you get like different weapons and you have to like level them up, and you can have a playstyle revolve around which weapons you think suit your style and stuff like that. It's only because very recently I've been like playing God of War for like the first time in years, and the stress factors actually in that game is surprisingly very little because the combat and the engine is incredibly sufficient. And I'm talking specifically about like God of War 3. That was my introduction to the series. And that game's 14 years old and it still is as sweet as a nut. Seikiro, however, I wouldn't know because I don't have any first-hand experience with the game outside of previously when we talked about the Divine Dragon OST. We're moving slightly ahead now because, well, I kind of thought I wanted to talk at least a little bit more about one other sort of character from the Seikiro. I have heard that there are several like standout contenders for some of the best boss fights. Some of them include the Guardian Ape boss fight, the Corrupted Monk fight, the Demon of Hatred I've heard some things about. And then, of course, there's like the main like end game bosses like Owl, Genichiro, and then finally the subject of today's video, Issin the Sword Saint, or Ishin, I should say. Now, I'll just start by saying this. I'll tell you what I have heard about this. I've heard Ishin is the single hardest and the greatest boss fight that From Software has ever created. I've heard that this fight is extremely difficult. I've also been told that because it's the very last boss in Seikiro, that makes sense. Leave its crowning glory till last. I don't know anything about like how its like mechanics work. Does it like shoot lightning? And or the only other thing I have heard about Ishin is that apparently you fight him in the first boss area, in where you first face Genichiro at the beginning of the game. If there's a distinct OST for Genichiro, I probably might be able to take a look at that, maybe later down the line. It depends if people just straight up want it. It's as simple as that. But with all that being said and done, because of the kick I got out of the Divine Dragon, I'm half expecting something very climactic, but also something very striking and superb actually out of this, because the standard has been set apparently quite high because of the reputation that Ishin sort of has. So here he is, Ishin the Sword Saint. So here we go. Oh yes, yeah. That might be for the first time in a while. I've just sat down, I shut up, and I watched the thing from start to end. And as possibly absolutely like as it starts off like noble but dignified, that you're fighting a being that is theoretically your equal, or rather you are now facing something that is absolutely your equal. And then as like the fight continues, it becomes even more dramatic, but it becomes fast and almost unpredictable. So that might possibly tell me that the fight involving Issin is one that starts off by testing you what you know and then throws you a curveball because you think you're getting on top of everything, and then it decides, no, you shall not pass and you do not know what you're doing, so therefore let's see how you can deal with this. You've proven how you could deal with everything before, but are you expecting this? It feels like the best sort of like, it feels like almost like what I almost want to call like a plot twist of a boss fight. One that you think you know everything that's going on, but it changes the tune very, very quickly, and before you even know what's happening, that's it. And if you are caught unawares, you're done. You're not even, you are unprepared, you're not fit, and possibly if your venture across Japan has ultimately meant absolutely nothing, and you will die where it all began, where Genichiro possibly went wrong and he didn't intend to continue before, or won't have the chance afterwards because, well, Ishin has probably sorted it himself. If you want the job done properly, then you may as well do it yourself, eh? But with all that being said and done, and I still think this is it's still, maybe there's probably like a bunch of other like bosses I certainly do want to be able to check out. I want to know. Okay, well, here's the thing. Should I just straight up get the game? Do you think that's what I should do? Because I feel like that's what I'm probably going to do. And let me know what you guys think. And I might even just do an entire playlist of what I think is like the best fights as well. Because, well, certainly the competition for like OSTs is probably going to continue even more if we are going to be including a lot more of Seikiro. The reason why I sort of like held back is outside of my lack of knowledge and context for the game. I also heard there's actually there's as many bosses in Sekiro as there is in Dark Souls 2, but a lot of them are quite like very, very mini bosses in which there's no critical agency to them and they're just sort of there as like hazards more than anything. But Issin sounds absolutely like a like an end game boss. So I hope to see you there, and I hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.